Funding for this program was made possible by the Committee for a Clean and Beautiful Glendale.
Hi there, Jewel City. I'm Jackson Webb.
And I'm Sandra Rodriguez. Welcome to NSTV, your window to the world of programs and projects sponsored by the City of Glendale Neighborhood Services Division, the Committee for a Clean and Beautiful Glendale, and our community partners.
In this brand new episode of NSTV, we'll follow the junior ambassadors as they take an exciting field trip to the Shoal Canyon landfill and the city's recycling center, our new graffiti removal trucks, a beautiful gem home, and our volunteer appreciation dinner.
Let's get things started and join the students of Glendale Adventist Academy on their trip to the landfill.
The Junior Ambassador Program is designed to teach middle school students the leadership skills needed to implement an environmental awareness program at their school. Students learn to positively influence their peers and families to adopt a sustainable lifestyle. The core areas of focus of the program are litter and storm water pollution prevention, and recycling and waste reduction. The newest school to join the Junior Ambassador Program is Glendale Adventist Academy, under the leadership of Ms. Carol Patton. Students hit the ground running by heading out to Shoal Canyon landfill to get a primer on the importance of waste reduction and recycling. Let's join them on this important field trip. Jake Amar of the city's Public Works Department led the tour, describing the different sections of the landfill and how trash gets separated, processed, and how some of it gets recycled.
Nobody's been here? I didn't even know we had a landfill. You know what they put in it? You guys know the 3 R's, don't you? Yes. Reduce. That's right. This is the stuff that isn't recycled. When something, you can't reduce, reuse, and recycle, it's real hard to do it here. And once we get out where they're dumping the trash, you're going to see bulldozers, and you're going to see these things called scrapers. He takes that and they dump it on the ground, and then that tractor with the big blade on it, he pushes it in that pile. That big pile, that big grappling hook. Now that's kind of like those things at the bowling alley where you put a quarter in, you try to pick the little stuffed animal and you win it. That's a little bit bigger than those, okay? He loads that stuff into that machine. That's called a tub grinder. And it just grinds that stuff up into little teeny pieces. And you see where it's coming out the conveyor belt? See how that's how it grinds it up. Now, that's the stuff we use at the end of the day to cover the trash. Well, I was asked again to take a group of kids from a local school on a tour of the landfill. That's one of the better parts of my job because the general population does not have a clue at all as to really what goes on up at that landfill. And it's a pleasure for me to be able to go out at any age, from kindergarten kids up to senior citizens, and show them and explain to them the science, the money, the economic reasons of why it is so hard to run a landfill. Paper, cardboard, leaves, branches, grass, okay? These are what we call nature's plastics. You throw that in the ground, there's little bacteria.
Students learned that every effort must be made beginning at home to keep metals from being buried in the landfill.
If you look over here, you see all the tires. All the new tires have metal in them. Metal is a poison. Metal in the ground is poisonous because we recycle that. All the refrigerators, the water heaters, all that, we put them over there. It's not just like a big pile of trash. This place has got more regulations, or as many regulations as a hospital. And when people realize that, it makes them think a little bit more before throwing more debris into the trash can or just regular trash that can be recycled. So when all this gas is generating in the landfill, we don't want that going into the air. We send this gas over there and we make electricity on it. And it's good to talk to the kids when they're this age because it makes sense to them. They're open for learning. And they're going to go home and make their mom and dad do it. Because they throw something away, the kids are going to yell at them. There's nothing worse than having a kid yell at you all day. So I feel real good about this, especially with kids that are as well behaved as this group was.
After the tour, students made a quick stop at Lower Shoal Canyon Park to have a discussion about how their image of the landfill had changed and to talk about what they had learned during the tour.
Glendale's trash ends up there, and there may be recycling there, and it may be dirty. That's all we knew about a landfill before we took this trip.
All we recycled there was the green waste, the tires, and what we call the white metal, which is the refrigerators, washers, dryers, things like that.
What I learned from going on this field trip is they put eucalyptus over the landfill and all over the trash so it won't smell as bad.
I learned that there's gases like inside the landfill, so they have like a big vacuum under it and it sucks it all out and sends it to a place where they make electricity. And my favorite part was seeing everyone like out working and how the eucalyptus goes in the machine and it processes and breaks it down.
My favorite part was just learning about how we could be more green and help the environment and all about the greenhouse gases.
My favorite part of the field trip today was learning how we could help our environment and how we can recycle and reduce the use of our trash.
I learned that the landfill uses recycles a lot of stuff like dryers, washers, and refrigerators, and also they recycle like green waste to like bury all the trash.
Bye, thank you.
A few weeks later, students took a trip to the city's recycling center where Tom Brady of the Public Works Integrated Waste Management Division talked about everything that can be diverted from the landfill. The recycling center serves as a central processing facility for recyclables collected from the city's multifamily programs.
But I just want to give you a general overview of what's going on here. So that's large building is the processing building where they store mixed recyclables.
Residents and businesses who bring recyclable materials to the center can deposit them voluntarily or exchange them for cash. The center pays full market value for many recyclable materials.
So anything metal can be processed fairly easily because it melts. We actually also have scrap metal bins on the other side of this wall here.
Metals are easily recycled because they are melted down and used to make new products. Aluminum from beverage cans is a commonly recycled metal.
Any bulky items, we pick up refrigerators, any appliances.
Scrap metal, coming from old appliances and other bulky items such as mattress frames, is placed in separate bins.
You're in one of the only states in the country that has a global warming act that's very effective in terms of requiring a lot of new measures to reduce global warming.
In the state of California, it is illegal to place electronic waste in the trash. Batteries, fluorescent lights, televisions, computers, and all electronic items with a circuit board, such as VCRs, printers, stereos, radios, microwaves, and telephones, can be dropped off at the recycling center. Large electronic items can be picked up through the city's bulky item collection service. Residents must schedule a pickup in advance by calling 818-548-3916.
But you're going to have to figure out ways of reducing the world's and your own carbon footprint, which means reducing your travel, walk and ride buses more and things like that. This is a big issue.
Students had the opportunity to watch as recyclables were sorted into different piles and fed into balers for processing.
If you look around, so there's cardboard, and this looks like a mixed paper pile here. There's aluminum, there's a glass pile, this is cardboard here. They're pulling it into various commodities. They're pulling out some straight trash at the very beginning. They try to separate some things that they can't use.
They were surprised to find out that generally, far less energy is required to recycle products than is required to manufacture them from raw materials.
In a storm, the water comes washing down the street. It goes down into a little catch basin. They're now installing those things.
Tom closed out the tour by encouraging students not only to recycle at home and at school, but also by urging them to reduce stormwater pollution by not littering. During the tour, Tom even touched on the importance of conserving all natural resources, including water, by pointing out the recycling center's drought-tolerant perennial native landscaping.
A big way to reduce waste is to try to replace high-maintenance plants like grass with perennial native plants or low-water plants. I've been doing this for a long time. We've been trying to get people to take out lawns and put in perennial low-water plants, native plants, in particular California natives, which grow here naturally, and with tree chip mulch around them. There's a lot of things you can do to reduce waste in the landscape, and this is using rainwater and reducing amount of lawns and using native plants that don't need extra. Once they become naturalized, they don't need any water.
Now that the junior ambassadors at Glendale Adventist Academy have visited the landfill and the recycling center, they are well equipped to motivate their friends, peers, and relatives to reduce waste and preserve their natural resources. Throughout the school year, ambassadors can participate in various educational activities in addition to field trips. Be sure to tune into NSTV in the summer to find out which school will win the annual Middle School Recycling Challenge, and to see what else our young ambassadors have been up to. For more information about the Junior Ambassador Program, contact Sandra Rodriguez at 818-548-2877 or at sandrodriguez@ci.glendale.ca.us. For NSTV, I'm Katrin Madatian.
Thanks, Katrin. It's wonderful that the students at Glendale Adventist Academy are learning the ins and outs of waste management. I'm sure that their experiences on these trips will encourage them to remain ambassadors to the environment throughout their lives.
Now let's take a quick break and see what's new in the world of neighborhood services.
We'll be right back with NSTV after these messages.
Hi, I'm Katrin Madatian, inviting you to join me and hundreds of volunteers at the 23rd Annual Great American Cleanup on Saturday, May 21st at City Hall campus in front of the Glendale Police Building. Each year, over 800 volunteers gather on the 100th block of North Isabel Street at 9 in the morning, where they're assigned to their very own beautification team. After checking in, the teams take to the street to spruce up, green up, and clean up the city. All volunteers get a free continental breakfast, a barbecue lunch, a commemorative event t-shirt, and more, thanks to our generous sponsors. Visit www.cleanupglendale.org for event details and to register. Or call Neighborhood Services at 818-548-3972. On behalf of Neighborhood Services and the Committee for a Clean and Beautiful Glendale, I'd like to thank you for keeping the Verdugos green and Glendale clean. I'm Katrin Madatian, and I'll see you at the cleanup.
Do you have graffiti on your property? Glendale Municipal Code requires that property owners remove graffiti within 10 days. The city's Neighborhood Services Division offers property owners a convenient graffiti removal service for a minimal cost. Our one-time removal fee ranges from $50 to $150 depending on the square footage of the graffiti. For $250, Neighborhood Services will remove graffiti from your property for an entire year. With our new state-of-the-art graffiti removal trucks equipped with paint sprayers, environmentally friendly solvents, and high-powered pressure washers, we are sure to safely remove graffiti from almost any surface, including unpainted natural surfaces. You can spare yourself the aggravation and effort of removing graffiti from your property by calling Neighborhood Services at 818-548-3700 between 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. or after business hours on our graffiti removal hotline at 818-548-3726. Proceeds from this program will cover the cost of graffiti removal materials and are used to fund graffiti prevention programs. For Neighborhood Services, I'm Jakeson Webb.
And now back to NSTV. Wow, it's impressive to see those new graffiti removal trucks in action. I'm sure it makes the field staff's work a lot more convenient.
Yes, and much more efficient. Now, let's head out to the home of Steve and Jose Sogadi and find out how they keep their property looking so good year-round.
Hi, I'm Armen Avedian with the Committee for a Clean and Beautiful Glendale. With me today is Steve Silgatti in front of their GEM Award-winning home at 633 Pioneer Drive. Thank you for inviting us to your home. Although this is not the home that you live in, how long have you lived in Glendale and what brought you to the Jewel City?
I've lived in the city of Glendale for about 23 years, and the fact that this is a very safe city made me want to come live here.
Excellent. I know that you bought this home a few years ago, and I do remember it, that it definitely did not look like this. How long ago did you buy it, and when was this home actually built?
We purchased the home a couple of years ago, and it was originally built in 1923.
You've certainly restored it perfectly. This home was nominated by one of Glendale's code enforcement inspectors for its great improvements. What are some of the improvements that you've made to make the outside look so beautiful?
We actually did a 100% remodel. We changed every square foot of the lots and the actual home inside. Nothing structural, but we did all the electrical, plumbing, new hardwood floors, paintings, complete kitchen remodel, bathroom, and we even refurbished the existing original wood to bring back its original character.
Very good. I've seen inside, and it's absolutely a great home for a first-time home buyer or possibly a startup family, so that's really nice. What actually made you take on this challenge in the first place?
We wanted to take on a project where we can bring something back to life, adding our own personal style, yet keeping the original flair of the house. This Spanish-style antique was exactly what we were looking for.
Very nice. You certainly have done a wonderful job with your home. What motivates you to maintain it so beautifully?
Two things. First of all, it's my professional and personal pride. Everything that myself and my company puts our hands on, we have to do it to the best ability because our name stands by it. And second of all, we live in the city that is considered a gem. This is a beautiful place to live, and I take great pride in living and in working in this city.
Very good. Thank you. Do you have any advice for anyone or some handy tips for our viewers about landscaping or property maintenance?
Probably a good idea would be to tie everything in together. If you have a small lot, you don't want to go crazy on certain things that you have a personal preference on. You want everything, colors to match, textures, moldings, and landscaping, for example. There are many different plants, many different colors that it's very important to be able to work with your existing home. Making curvatures out of the hardscaping will also remove the harshness from the existing concrete that could be there.
Very good.
My father and I, Jose, we are general contractors, and we've been building here in Glendale for a very long time. Throughout our experience, we've realized everything in moderation. A little bit of everything could look beautiful when tied in. For example, if you take a look at the certain flowers, we have a little bit of pink, a little bit of yellow. Nothing is in a sequence. Everything is a little bit scattered away. One of the things that we take a lot of pride in is the color green. The color green will help tie in everything very much. As I mentioned earlier, the curvature, not just adding a square of grass, but adding lines to it, adding curves. For example, the hardscaping as well that we did in the back of this property. We actually broke up the existing concrete that we had on the ground. We broke it and smashed it into pieces, and then we reinstalled it into the floor. So then we actually decorated it in between the grouts with fish pond rocks. And once again, leaving a little bit of the existing house to all the new things. It's important for someone, when they buy a house, in my opinion, to be able to have the existing idea of the architect and the existing idea of the original engineers back in 1923 still live to this day. And one day in the future, I hope that my projects, our company's projects, when they are remodeled 100 years down the road, they could still keep a little bit of their original idea that we had in mind.
I'd like to congratulate you on behalf of the community for a clean and beautiful Glendale for being recognized for this GEM Award. And
thank you very much.
That's the official award right there. We thank you for enhancing our neighborhoods. You also get this lawn sign to be placed in front of your house in the yard out here somewhere, so that everyone that walks by can appreciate what you've done and they know that you have been recognized and definitely congratulations on that.
Thank you very much, Armin.
So, basically, Steve, thank you again for your time and congratulations once again. From 633 Pioneer Drive, I'm Armin Avadian for NSTV.
Thank you, Armin. That was definitely a home worthy of a GEM Award.
Yes, it shows that Steve and Jose truly care about keeping their property well maintained and beautifully landscaped. I'm sure the entire neighborhood appreciates their efforts.
It's people like the Salgadis that make the community a better place to live and work in. Every year, Neighborhood Services and the Committee for a Clean and Beautiful Glendale show their sincere gratitude for the volunteers, community partners, and sponsors that are an important part of our success. Our volunteers participate in a variety of community events and award-winning programs that help improve the quality of life in Glendale. This year's Volunteer Appreciation Dinner was hosted by our friends at the Glendale Adventist Medical Center. Let's catch up with correspondent Katrin Madatian, who had an opportunity to interview some of our volunteers.
Hi, I'm Katrin Madatian with Neighborhood Services, here at the Volunteer Recognition Dinner. I can hear the music, the program must be starting. Join me as I interview a few of our attendees. With me, I have Assemblyman Mike Gatto. Assemblyman, what are some words of wisdom you can give to the volunteers of Glendale?
Well, I have two messages for all the great volunteers that are being honored here tonight. The first one is thank you. Obviously, it takes a lot to give your time to causes that are often not that glamorous, like picking up litter and painting over graffiti. But the second message I have is that what these volunteers have done tonight is very important. It's very important. You know, I myself have rolled up my sleeves many times and planted medians and picked up graffiti, picked up litter and painted over graffiti. And I just think it really does make a difference. As corny as that sounds, I think a lot of people understand that government can't do it all, that people getting involved in their communities is very important. And so it really does make a difference what these volunteers have done.
Thank you so much, Assemblyman, and we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight at the Volunteer Dinner.
Thanks for having me.
Here I have Sophia Young with me. Sophia, what are you accepting your certificate for today?
I participated in the I Love My Neighborhood poster contest, and I won first place after many hours of dedication to it.
And what is something that you would say to people your age to get them involved in volunteering in the neighborhood?
Well, you know, you'd like to keep your neighborhood clean and beautiful, and that really inspires you to do the poster.
With me, I have Chris Peblo. Chris, what are you accepting your award for tonight?
I'm getting the Spirit of Volunteerism Award.
And how do you feel about accepting your award?
Oh, it's very exciting. This was completely unexpected to me, and I was really thrilled to hear it. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything at all, and I've been in Glendale my whole life, and so this is pretty exciting for me to have gotten an award like this.
Each year, the Committee for a Clean and Beautiful Glendale and Neighborhood Services hosts a special volunteer appreciation dinner to recognize the individuals and community partners who dedicate their time to improving the quality of life in Glendale. Many volunteers were recognized for their participation in a variety of community programs, which resulted in an impressive 15,000 hours of service. Glendale Adventist Medical Center was the evening's presenting sponsor.
And I welcome you to the Glendale Adventist Medical Center to our annual Volunteer Appreciation Dinner.
Please stand up and be recognized when I call your name. Jean Maluccio. One of our regular Foothill Community Cleanup volunteers. Mr. Sig Larson. Another one of our Foothill Cleanup volunteers. Mr. Warren Beam. Mr. Vito D'Erasmo, one of our longtime adopted block participants. Elizabeth Vito and the junior ambassadors from Wilson Middle School. Where's Elizabeth? Kathy Duarte and her Girl Scout troop. The Los Angeles Church of Christ. Janie Roach, and the Fremont Elementary School K-Kids. Fremont Park is home to a beautiful and thriving rose garden. If you had visited the park in 2009, you probably wouldn't agree with that statement. In January 2010, Marcia Sanchez Walsh, the president of the Los Angeles Tinseltown Rose Society, joined forces with the Committee for a Clean and Beautiful Glendale and Neighborhood Services to revitalize the garden. She recruited her friend, world-renowned rose expert Dr. Tommy Carnes, to help carry out her plan to replant the entire garden in one morning. Very ambitious. Dr. Carnes was able to secure a donation of close to 400 bare root rose bushes from Southern California's finest growers, and they did manage to plant all of them one Saturday morning in January. Marcia and Dr. Carnes and all the members of the Rose Society, would you please stand up so we could recognize you?
I'd like to introduce to you our host this evening, our presenting sponsor, and from the Glendale Adventist Medical Center, Mr. Maury Dean.
We appreciate the Committee for a Clean and Beautiful Glendale. Glendale is a place that's near and dear to our heart, and we've been here 106 years in Glendale. So Glendale Adventist began as the Glendale Sanitarium down about Broadway and Isabel, somewhere down there. There was something called the Glendale Hotel that we purchased back in 1905 from Leslie Brand. Our community is important to us. The reason Glendale Adventist is here is for the Glendale community. That is the reason that we're here, and we want to serve in partnership with organizations like yours, and so we appreciate what you're doing to make Glendale a better place, and I hope that your committee continues to make a difference in our community.
I'm pleased to announce to everyone today that Glendale Adventist Medical Center became an entirely smoke-free campus on January 1st of this year. Let's give it up for them right now.
The first special award was the Lifetime of Beautification Award, presented posthumously to the former Committee for a Clean and Beautiful Glendale member Arnold Milner.
Our family here to accept the Lifetime Beautification Award on his behalf.
The wound is still fresh at this point for the loss of our dad, but he definitely took pride in whatever he did, and he was always happy to come back with stories on everything that was going on. And it's nice to know that the programs will continue even though he is not here, and he will live on through the programs that are going on. Thank you.
Chris Waldine, General Manager of Jay's Maintenance, was presented with the Hometown Hero Award.
We appreciate you. We appreciate everything you do. Would you please come up here?
Just being here tonight, I feel it reminds me why I feel so lucky to live and work in the city of Glendale. You know, as a cleaning company, it made sense to partner up with Clean and Beautiful Glendale to help keep Foothill Boulevard clean. I think one of my favorite parts of the Foothill cleanup is the fact that they get so many teenagers involved, and they show them at that early age what it means to get involved and how important that is to be a big part of the community. So anyway, thank you very much for this honor.
The Kiwanis Club of Glendale was honored for its involvement in the construction of the second Eco-Community Garden on Monterey Road.
We don't expect people just to sign up and become a member without getting involved, and this club is very fortunate to have some great leadership we got going on the community garden idea. It was a lot of work and a lot of fun. We had a lot of people there, and it wasn't just our club. I mean, there was Glendale Green, Glendale, and kids from Daly High School came over and cleaned the grounds before we started. It was a volunteer project. If you got something for us, let us know and we'll be there. Thank you.
The Spirit of Volunteerism Award went to a special individual who truly enjoys the satisfaction of doing something positive for his community just for the sake of bringing happiness to others without expecting anything in return.
Build all these beautiful decorations that you see here.
I grew up here my whole life, and then my parents would load us in the Country Squire and take us down Brand Boulevard, and the tunnel of lights was just absolute magic to me, and I loved it. And then I got the opportunity to kind of participate in doing the same thing. This is astounding to me. Thank you very, very much for this award. I really appreciate it.
On behalf of the
one corporate sponsor stands out from the rest each year. Lakeside Community Healthcare's involvement in our programs throughout the year did not go unnoticed.
On behalf of Lakeside, I'd like to thank the committee for this honor and also for the dedication that the committee Presents for keeping all the activities that go on to keep Glendale clean and beautiful. I also